Now, it is time for me to tell you a little bit about what's on my tiny little mind today. Um, Everybody here knows the Ashrei. Everybody knows what it is, and most of us can even sing it in Hebrew because we've heard it so many times. The Ashrei, it's a psalm. It's Tehillim. It's Psalms 145:18. And one of the lines in it is, God is close to all who call in truth. God is close to all who call in truth. Okay, what does close mean? What does that mean? Today's Torah reading suggests that closeness can begin with something surprisingly small. You can turn aside, you can reach out, or you simply pay attention. That's kind of what it means. God is close to all who call in truth. Let's go back for a minute with me and remember in the book of Exodus, Moshe is spent 40 years as the prince of Egypt. Then the next 40 years tending to the sheep in Midian, Yitro's sheep, Jethro's sheep. And towards the end of that 40 years, he's walking along, and what does he see? He comes across this bush. It's blazing in flame, but it's not being consumed. The flames are not burning the bush. We call it the burning bush, but the bush really isn't burning. The flames are there, but the bush isn't burning. It's not fueling the fire. So Moshe says, when he sees it, he says, I'm going to turn aside now and look at this great sight. So he says, I'm going to turn aside now. I'm going to look at this. This is amazing. What is this? Why does the Torah say that? Why? What's the point? He could simply have looked, not said a word. In fact, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai teaches that Moshe walked 3 steps towards the burning bush, or the bush that was burning but was not consumed, or whatever it is. The flames coming from what looked like coming from the bush. Took 3 steps. Other sages don't agree. They say all he did was turn his head. He inclined his neck. He didn't really take a step. He just turned his neck. Doesn't matter what he did. Doesn't matter. He did something. That's the point. And it was a small thing. Taking 3 steps, if that's what he did, it's not like running in the New York Marathon. It's 3 little steps. If he turned his neck, a big deal. We all turn our necks. We watch TV, whatever. We see something, we turn our neck. And by the way, there's a term for that called rubbernecking. We do it on the highway. It's no extra work. It's not hard to do. And therefore, whatever he did, Moshe didn't need more comfortable shoes, and he didn't need a neck massage. It was just part of the day. It was almost uneventful, and yet the Torah points it out, and the rabbis are discussing it and arguing over it. The Torah then tells us that when God saw Moshe turn aside to look, God called to Moshe from the bush. And God said, Moshe, Moshe. And Moshe answered, Hineni, here I am. In other words, the size of the movement wasn't the point. The distance wasn't the point. Moshe heard God's voice. Moshe turned, stayed, and answered. That's a little different now, isn't it? That small act of attention opened the way to prophecy and a lifetime of closeness with God. If Moshe hadn't done that and just kept going, the Torah would have been pretty short. It would have been over already. No, Moshe spent the rest of his life, the last 40 years, close with God. This lesson is both demanding and encouraging, both. We do not have to arrive spiritually complete. When we go to God, we do not have to be completely, fully spiritual in ourselves. We can't. We don't have to, but we need to turn. We need to take a step, a glance, a sincere prayer, or a minute of gratitude. That's enough because that's how we begin. A step, a glance, a sincere prayer, or a minute of gratitude. When we turn toward God, God joins us in that moment. Very interesting. You know, I've noticed that deeply fulfilled people that I've known in my life often seem to practice this kind of turning. They may never announce it, but they keep looking for holiness in their lives. They do. I'm sure you've seen people like this. They're nice people. I'm not talking about the ones that go through the motions. I'm talking the ones who are truly fulfilled, deeply fulfilled. They find it in a prayer. They find it in other people. They find it in ordinary, simple gifts and things that happen that we cannot explain, such as suddenly finding things that we thought were lost forever. How many of us have lost things in the house, couldn't find it, and then all of a sudden there it is, right where we thought it was supposed to be anyway? But we didn't find it before. It seemingly wasn't there. Come on, everybody. It's happened to everybody. How could that be? You know, because it's the way God works with us. None of us are perfect, not even close. None of us. But even me, I'm so far from perfect, it's not even funny. But fortunately, Moshe's example suggests that God honors direction. What is our direction? Over the distance we travel. It's not how far we go to be where we want to be. It's what's the direction we're taking. It shows that it is not important how far we go, but what matters is that we are moving in the right direction. Take food. It's one of my favorite subjects, gribbinus, gefilte fish. Please don't leave because you're hungry because of me. But I've spent a lifetime appreciating excellent cooking and baking. I have. And everybody who's seen me knows what I'm talking about. But my family always made sure that I received plenty of spiritual nourishment, often with offering me seconds and thirds and fourths and fifths. Yet the first finest kitchen, the best kitchen in the world, I don't care who the baker is, could my grandparents, my mother, my wife, and even any of you that have cooked delicious food for me and others. You can't beat a crisp apple, sweet grapes, a juicy peach, or a cold watermelon on a hot day. You can't make something better than that. That's what God made. Our simple tastes invite a simple question. Who placed such natural things, a variety of such natural things, the beauty of those natural things, and the wonderful refreshment and satisfied that we get? Who created that? Who was the creator of all that? Gratitude itself is how we can turn toward God. We pause, we notice, and we acknowledge that the world contains gifts that you and I could not manufacture. No human being could manufacture. Again, look at the trees. Look at the fruit we eat. Not even the combined talents of my mother, my grandparents, my wife, they can't make a better peach. They can't. Maybe you can, but they can't. I say that with great respect for both of both my mother, my wife, and the peach. Have respect for the peach. God made the peach. There is another gift that we have that's close at hand, and you know what it is? It's something I like to do a lot of. It's a simple smile. It's the smile on our face. When our services are over, I want you to do me a favor. Forget me. Do it for yourself. Go look in the mirror and smile. You know what? You might feel a little silly doing it, going in the mirror and smiling at yourself. But that's part of the exercise that I want. I want you to understand our skin, our muscles, our bones, our memory, and our spirit cooperate to produce something bright enough to change the room. Even if you are memory challenged, if you tell them to smile and they smile, how could they remember what a smile is? They do. They remember. And look at all the things that have to cooperate to smile. And it does brighten a room. To notice those wonders is also to turn toward the one who created our ability to do it. It's God. God is in us. God is close with us, so close. God is so close, God is in us. However, it's not only about noticing beauty in the world. It is also about acting when success seems unlikely, when things just don't look like they're going to go well. We all know those moments. Whatever we do, it isn't going to turn out good. Or whatever happens, it's not going to turn out. We have those, everybody. In Mitzrayim, in Egypt, Paro decreed that Jewish newborn boys must be thrown into the river. That couldn't turn out good, right? All Jewish boys born, all B'nai Yisrael, they weren't Jewish yet, but all of them had to be thrown into the river and drowned. How is that going to turn out good? Can you imagine being a mother of one of those boys that had to watch the midwives throw the babies into the river, the Nile River, to die? So what did Moshe's mother do? She didn't participate in that. She kind of did. She made a watertight basket out of reeds, then placed the basket with the baby in between the reeds and floated the baby away. I don't know about you, but that's not exactly the kind of river cruise a nervous parent would choose if they had to. But she did it because she trusted God. She entrusted Moshe to God. She did what she was told. She put the baby in the Nile River, but she put him in a container that would float and let God do the rest. You know what they say? God helps those that helps themselves. Well, there you go. Paro's daughter, of all the people in the whole wide world that could find this baby, this basket, was Paro's daughter. She reached for it. Now, the baby's floating in the middle of the Nile River. This daughter of Paro is standing by the river, Batya. She's standing there. Do you think her arm is going to reach all the way to the middle of the river to catch that basket? Well, the rabbis didn't think so. And in Talmud Sota 12b, it teaches that the basket was way beyond her natural reach and that her arm miraculously extended out further and further from her body to reach the baby, to reach this particular basket. Can you believe it? It's a memorable thing. When I tell you this, you think in your mind, you can actually see her arm reaching out to grab that basket. But the reality is very questionable. Nobody's arm is going to reach away from their body that far. But it doesn't matter. It's the message that is important, and it's a message that is great. She reached out before she knew how the gap would be closed. She had no idea if her arm was going to reach that basket, but she reached out and it did. Took the small step. She took the small step. So divine supervision appears throughout the story of Moshe, throughout the Torah, throughout the Tanakh. Even today, you see it. How does Israel win these wars? How do they do it? Paro's daughter was right in the right place at the right time. The hidden basket was seen, and a child marked for death was brought where? Right into the royal household that ordered its death. Come on. How could this be? God arranged the people, the timing, and the circumstances. That's what God did. But it still required human beings to take action. The mother and the daughter of Paro. Moshe's mother and the daughter of Paro. They had to take action or God couldn't help them. Now, maybe some of you have heard of this rabbi. His name is Rabbi Yisrael Meir HaKohen Kagan. He's better known as the Chofetz Chaim, which means seeker of life. He lived in the late 1800s and early 1900s. The Chofetz Chaim, a very famous rabbi. He stressed that Paro's daughter knew her arm was way too short. She knew it, but she didn't care. She reached out anyway. We are not asked to perform a miracle. None of us can perform miracles. We're not God. But we are asked to extend ourselves as far as we can. Take a short step and keep trying. Then we leave the rest up to God. We leave room for God to do the rest. This to me is, as I said before when we were talking about despair, this to me is the antidote for despair. When there's a problem and it feels overwhelming, thinking we can expect a positive outcome is foolhardy. It's a waste of time, and it only causes us to become more despondent and more upset. Somebody is dying, and we say, well, maybe they'll get better and they'll live. Well, maybe they will. But the more we think that way, the more despair we're going to suffer. But if we make an honest effort and we place the basket and we reach toward it, take the next step. You know why? Faith is not passive waiting. That's not what faith is. There's lots of jokes about the person on the roof waiting for God to take their hand and bring them to safety when there's a flood all around the house. There's a lot of jokes like that. Faith is not passive waiting on the roof. It's not. You got to take action without the illusion of control. We have no control. We know we have no control. Things are going to happen the way they happen. But the faith is that we help do things that cause a difference. That's what we must do. So Moshe turned toward a flame. Paro's daughter reached toward a basket. We find things we thought we lost. We can turn through prayer, gratitude, generosity, courage, or just make a smile. Make a smile for somebody. These gestures don't seem very big. In fact, they are all very small. But small gestures reveal where the heart is facing. That is the key. God is close to all who call in truth. May we all call upon God, not only in emergencies, those many challenging foxhole moments in our lives, and you don't have to be in the military to have a foxhole moment. We don't just do it in those times. We do it every day with everything that happens. we must call upon God. May we notice the bushes that burn without being consumed, the sweetness placed before us, the people who need our reach, and the opportunities to turn. If the first turn is only 3 steps, or merely an inclined neck, or an outstretched arm, or a simple smile of acknowledgement, that's enough. That's enough to begin our journey. And this could happen at any age. Moshe was already 80 years old when he took that journey. And if the reach seems too short, we should reach anyway. And if all we can offer today is a grateful smile, that can become a needed beacon of light that lets others see. May each of our sincere moments bring us closer to God and make us more ready to bring light, hope, and help to one another. And let us all say to that, Amen, Shabbat Shalom, and Am Yisroel Chai.